Well, hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Hudson. I'm co-founder of Professional Paranormal Investigations, and I welcome all of you to our presentation for the Jennings County's Library's virtual miniCON 2020. Now, everyone at PPI hopes you're staying safe and that you are healthy. I'm sure you know someone who's been affected with COVID-19. Hopefully they have recovered, and they're not among those who did not make it. Our hearts all go out to those that are deceased. Now, it's a little strange for us to be doing this here and not in person with you, but let's begin our virtual presentation. You've already seen who our members are, so now let me explain to you what equipment our group uses for investigations. And then I'll tell you about a recent investigation we just did a couple of weeks ago at Loveland Castle in Ohio. I'll take you through some photos and videos from the actual investigation. But first, here's the equipment that our group uses. Digital recorders. Now, we've been using digital recorders ever since we started doing this. They actually have some really cool ones now that you can wear on your wrist. It actually looks like a wristwatch, but it is also a digital recorder. We use this sometimes, Jen and myself and a couple of the other investigators, as we're walking around from room to room where we made in a building, let's say, that's really too big to put recorders in. We've done some investigations in some places that it's just impossible. We don't have enough recorders to put everywhere. So really we walk around with our recorders working so that if something is speaking to us when we're in a room, we actually can hear it. Now, the recorders are very important for us because we pick up a lot, and I mean a lot, of EMF or disembodied voices. It's almost our backup proof of what we heard when we're inside of a room. There's also video cameras. Now, we've always used to set up our DVR cameras, which were on a tripod, and we had a cord running back to a DVR. It took about an hour to wire up a building. Now we use the new WiseCam cameras. Now, the WiseCam cameras, all we basically have to do is plug it into an outlet. Each one has an SD card right inside the camera itself. So using our cell phone, because we'll use a hotspot for a network, we can actually connect to the phone because it's pre-programmed for a hotspot. We can see where it's pointing, we can adjust where it's pointing so that it's pointing exactly how we want it to, and we set it to record on the SD card. And basically we can turn off our hotspot. The hotspot's basically only used to get the camera going, point it, and to turn it off. And it works fantastically, as you'll see. The clips from some of our investigations are all from these Wise cameras. They also record with audio, which is something our DVR cameras did not. Something that's widely being used today, but we've been using for a long time, is a non-contact thermometer. Now, basically, this thermometer is a point-and-shoot thermometer that will give you a temperature of something within seconds. I mean, basically, they're using it today during the COVID-19 stuff, where they point it at your head and they can tell, and they read your temperature right there through this little device instantaneously and know whether or not you have a fever or not. But we use it the same way inside of a room. So if we feel a temperature change in the room where someone's feeling a cold draft along their legs, okay, we can point this down towards their legs and see what the temperature is there compared to what it is maybe higher, up by their shoulders. And sometimes you can see a significant temperature change, and you know that there's something down there around that area that's causing that chill. Another item that we use is the K2 meter. Now, our K2 meter has a special built-in hot and cold temperature detection. So basically, if the temperature in the room gets 5 degrees colder or 5 degrees warmer, a buzz will happen, an audible buzz, something that we'll all hear, and we'll know that the temperature is changing. Now, this can correlate between someone feeling a cold breeze along their arm or their leg we'll know that the temperature in the room is actually changing. And of course, the K2 meter picks up electromagnetic activity or energy that's near it. So if the brighter the light goes, the closer it is. An item that we use a lot in our investigations is the Ovilus 5. Now, the Ovilus 5, it's explained as it converts environmental readings into words. The goal of this device is to facilitate communications with different voice modes such as phonetic mode and dictionary mode. We can actually have whatever is in the room speak to us. And one of the things we also like on this, it has a true-false generator that works with EMF readings. So we can ask a question and they can answer whether or not if it's true or false. So we could say, is it true that you're a woman? And if it goes up to, the true, then we know it's possibly correct and false. But you also have to be careful with all these devices, as whatever the spirits are may try to deceive you into answers that really aren't the truth. One of the cool devices that we use is the REM pod. The red pod, as you see there, has little lights on it, and the one here we have also plays some music. And it uses electromagnetic energy that's around it. So if something is close by to it, it lights this thing up. And sometimes even music plays when the lights light up. And as you'll see later on in the investigation, we'll have a little video of the REM pod actually in action. Anyone who watches Mike Holmes on HDTV has seen him use the flare camera. Now, the flare camera is actually very important. What it does is basically you point it at a room and you can see the hot spots and the cold spots inside of a room. Now, think about that. That actually works really well for paranormal investigators as well, because if you're seeing a hot or a cold spot on a doorknob and no one's been over towards that door, and you know that something there has touched that doorknob that has caused that to change to either hot or cold. It's an interesting little device. They're kind of a little expensive, but they actually do work. One of the pieces of equipment that we use is the grid pen. Now, with a grid pen, all you have to do is aim the laser grid at a wall, and if an apparition moves in front of the laser beam, you see it. Basically, it's a bunch of little green dots on the wall, and anything that passes in front of it, you'll actually see the shape of it as it passes by. One of our newest items is the Spirit Box. Basically, the Spirit Box is a small AM/FM radio, and it sweeps the airways from either band, whether it be AM or FM, whatever you set it to. And you also select the speed of how much or how fast you'd like it to scan. The theory is the spirits can manipulate the device to speak using the words that come through. With different equipment, you'll only hear the words coming through instead of hearing all the sound that's coming in between. It's actually a cool little device and sometimes can answer questions right on the mark. Another device we use is a shadow tracker. Now, the shadow tracker can assist us by showing us the directional movement of shadows and entities, giving us the ability to see actually where and what side the activity is taking place. See, when shadows or entities pass over this shadow tracker, it has 8 LED lights. Individually respond to that particular activity in that one spot. So basically, if it moves 4 lights on the right-hand side move, you know that the entity is moving across the room and it's towards that right-hand side. It's actually a cool little device. One of the new items, as we call in our arsenal and paranormal investigations, is the SLS camera. Now, with this camera, will detect human shapes in absolute darkness or in full light. It also sees body where there's nothing that basically the naked eye can see. So here's how it works. And it's going to be a little technical, but it uses an RGB camera with depth sensor and infrared light projector, with a monochrome CMOS sensor which sees everything, not a flat image, but as dots arranged in a 3D environment. Okay, so for us that are not as technical, basically what it is, it's a camera that's mapping out people, and that's standing in front, let's say in front of the camera. So you'll see someone, let's say like Jen, one of our investigators, standing there. And then all of a sudden, you'll see something else stand next to her. You'll see it moving around. You'll see it actually leaning down, sometimes getting down on its knees, sometimes laying down on the floor. But there's nothing there. If you look, all you see is Jen standing there by herself. It's a pretty cool camera, and I'll show you a little bit of some of the examples that we've had of some of the evidence that we found using this. Another new piece of equipment that we use is the paranormal puck. You probably see it on TV shows like Ghost Adventures and stuff, and basically it's a round disc, as you see in the picture here, that we use our cell phones for, and it pairs up with our cell phones, and we can type in a question and ask it, what is the name of the spirit or entity that's here, and it will give us 3 to 5 answers back instantaneously upon hitting submit. So sometimes it gives us some very, very interesting readings and tells us a lot about what and who's in our room. Our newest device is the Paralight. I happened to see it recently on Amazon and grabbed one of it. Now the Paralight has 6 vibrant color bands which subsequently light up for EMF fluctuations and spikes. What it does, basically, it opens like one of those little camping lights that you have. You slide it open and you'll see the blue light at the bottom light up. As something passes it or some kind of EMF activity near it, the lights light up further up as in layers. So even if we're not in the room, sometimes we lay it in the path of the camera and we can see if something passes it, you can easily see in the camera the changes in light. It's actually a cool little device.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jen and I am one of the founders of Professional Paranormal Investigations. I'm also the psychic medium of the group, and I am one of many who takes photographs of each location. I guess you could say I'm also the videographer, since I do go around filming both inside and outside of the entire location, especially when it comes to public locations. I like to document all the things that we see there, all the rooms, because we don't always have enough cameras or enough recorders in order to place around in each location. So it gives us a little look back so that we can see what we're trying to, if we're trying to figure out a room, it's easier to go back to the video, or if we have a lot of photographs, which normally our group does. So I'm going to talk to you about Loveland Castle and an experience that Shauna, one of our investigators, and I had in the room that was kind of like a dining room, I guess you could say, a dining area. The way that I always thought about it was the Harry Potter table, where you had this big, really long table and all these chairs. Well, now it wasn't as long as Harry Potter's table, but it was a really good sized table. I mean, you could have fit probably like 20 people, if not a little more, at this table. So Shauna and I had a REM pod with us, and we sat at the end of the table, and we sat kind of like midway. Now, nobody else is inside the building at this time, inside the castle. Everybody else is outside. We wanted to kind of see if we would get some more activity, if there was just a few people in there, versus having a lot of people in there. Now, when we first walked in the room, after we sat that down there, we both started to feel different things. Like, you could feel heaviness and everything else. Now, honestly, I've never felt anything as quickly as I did that night. And I didn't want to say, oh my gosh, I feel this like right away, because it sounds kind of odd. You know, you just walk into a building and then suddenly you're feeling that. That's exactly what happened. That's the first time that's ever happened that quickly for me, when I walked into a room and just sat down. I mean, I'm used to feeling a little bit of things, but not to the extent that I felt it that night. There was a pressure on my head. I mean, it felt like when you are on a plane and your ears need to pop. It's kind of the feeling that I had with that. And then there was just some other feelings going on. It was really interesting to have that experience. So Shauna and I, we began to ask questions, and the REM pod starts to light up. It doesn't just light up. I mean, this thing is actually full blown, playing music, lighting up, going, you know, the whole thing. And it happens not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times while we're sitting there asking questions. Now, at one point, I walk over to the room, and, you know, because I want to make sure that there's nothing interfering with it, and I get up and I walk past it, and it doesn't go off, right? And so I come back, and it still didn't go off. And so we moved it. We moved it from one location down to the other end of the table, and nothing happened. So we moved it back. And we're sitting there, we're still asking more questions, and it goes off again. And then it goes off a third time. Well, at this point, right next to where we're sitting is a bedroom. Now, this bedroom is gated off. You can't go in there. But it's where the owner or the builder of this location used to stay when he was there. So we're hearing these footsteps. Shauna and I are starting to hear footsteps. And so we go over there to investigate. We want to make sure that there's no way that somebody could go inside that room and be kind of sneaking around, you know, whatever. And we're not talking about any of our investigators. We're talking about somebody that works for the castle, you know, or whatever, because they do have cameras everywhere. And obviously they do have keys, and they know the ins and outs of where you can come in and where you can't come in, you know, that kind of thing. So we did go in there. We didn't go in the room, but we stood at the little gate that they had there, and we looked in, and there was no doors to where you could come into this building or into this room. Of course, like I said, it's on the 2nd floor, but that doesn't mean that there wouldn't have been like a set of stairs on the outside or anything like that, which there wasn't. We did investigate that, and there wasn't anything. So we heard those footsteps, and we went and investigated, and there was nothing. And it wasn't long after that the light goes out. Now, at first, Sean and I wasn't for sure if there was a timer or not. We kind of figured there was, but it's quite interesting. So it goes off again. You know, the equipment goes off again, and it wasn't long after that we had some other members coming up because they wanted to investigate, and needless to say, all the activity pretty much died down after that. So that was kind of fun. So that was kind of my experience at Loveland Castle. Now, we have not gone through the rest. We haven't gone through anything, really. We haven't gone through the audio. We haven't gone through the video or anything like that. We have some new cameras that we're trying out or that we're using, and so we are able to kind of pull some of those little video shots, I guess, is what he's going to do. I'm not for sure, but we can show those kind of things and know right away what that is. I do know Shauna had her phone, so she did video what was happening. You can't see it, you can hear it, so it's kind of interesting to have that experience at the castle. So that's really all I can say I experienced there at this point in time. The rest of it will be determined. So.
Thank you for that. Are you the one that turned the light off? You light up if the answer is yes. Do you like playing the music?
Thank you for playing that again. I really like that music.
I'm going to show little clips from the actual investigation. These are from the cameras that were used during the investigation of the castle. Take a look at what it looked like. Our investigation was pretty interesting, and many of us had personal experiences. Now we're hoping the audio review and the video review will back this up, because if not, it's just a personal experience that happened to one of us, but it's evidence if we can get actual video and audio to back up what we saw and experienced ourselves. Now we've yet to review the video or audio, and I apologize for this, but at the time of this filming is really close to when we finish the investigation. Now I promised during the equipment segment, when showing the SLS Kineticam, that I would show you a clip of it actually working. Now the clip I'm about to show you is from an investigation we did at Thornhaven Manor in Newcastle, Indiana. One of our investigators used their cell phone to record what we were capturing on the SLS camera. Take a look. Your left, your right hand, yeah, there you go. Okay, now, just hold it right there. Just hold it right there.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hold our hand?
Can you touch her hand? It's looking.
Go ahead.
Reach out and touch her hand.
It's okay if you touch her. She's not afraid.
She won't hurt you. You won't hurt her.
If it's the same one that pushed me down the stairs, they might want to.
Oh, that is crazy.
It's absolutely absurd. I mean, but that it's sitting right in that chair.
I'm telling you, I was feeling it.
Is it sitting in this chair?
It's
Sitting
okay.
in
You're
this one
fine.
right
I'm just
there.
trying
Well,
to.
then why
You
did
said
you
my
have me
phone
put
made
this
a
on?
noise.
Your right hand
Because
up.
believe it or
I
not,
had the right hand up, and you told me the left.
That's your right hand.
Yes, and then you told
Oh.
me this one.
Well, okay.
It's
but when
reversed.
it's reversed on the
It's
screen.
reversed on the screen. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like you have the
You got
hand
the
up
wrong
away
hand,
from the
yeah.
chair right now on the screen.
Right.
Here, I'll just hold them both up.
Is
It's so cool.
we're excited to see you.
No,
fun. Have
Can you say something? Can you talk to us?
Oh.
So were you the one that followed us from the other room?
Okay, so it's in that chair.
Yeah,
Well, then make up your mind.
Well, it's reversed on the screen.
it's confusing because
It's confusing because the screen is backwards.
Here,
Yeah.
you hold my hand.
Now you're at the
Wanna make it easier?
correct side.
Sure that?
yeah.
That's the chair that Ellen was.
Okay, why did it just switch?
It moved.
It moved to the other chair. Oh.
Oh shit, it
Oh,
jumped back
shit.
and forth from chair to chair.
I heard us talking
You
about
got that on
chairs.
video, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
It jumped from one chair to the other chair and then back.
Which chair do you think it's sitting in?
Right now
It's in that chair.
Okay, I'm gonna sit in this one just out of curiosity.
That might really screw it up, but go ahead, go
No,
for
go
it.
for it.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just gonna sit here.
This is what, the first time he got this working, that's what happened at the house. And I had something standing behind me,
It hasn't picked her up yet.
and then it,
Do you mind if I sit here?
was dancing on top of the dog. That was
Mine
funny.
picked you up.
That's weird.
Well, you can see her.
You see the red
I
light?
can see her, but I can't see.
Turn off your red light, maybe, Kim.
I'm holding this too. Although that's turned off.
We can see you on the small screen.
So, were you
Yeah.
in there?
But you're not
the one
mapping
that
out.
was growling at me?
Give it a minute. It'll map out.
Yeah.
Were you growling at me in the other room? Did I upset you with the questions I was asking?
So it's its legs crossed, doesn't it?
No, that was my intention, was just
Crazy.
to
Is this your favorite room?
get a reaction out of you.
Now it's sitting on you.
What was that?
Now it's in Kim's lap.
Literally is in your
Yeah.
lap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I can tell you it got cold.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
Oh.
Oh, what it was doing there, did it leave?
Mm-mm.
This is me moving.
That's still.
I feel a lot of cold.
Okay, then it's
cold
gone.
air
It's-
It ran out.
on my
Oh,
leg.
no, it's there.
Oh, there it is.
It is there.
Where?
It's right in front of.
I don't know. Is it in
on
her
this
lap?
table. It's on the table.
It's, oh my God, and it's crawling like a spider.
Yeah, it's crawling on the table now.
Oh my God, it is crawling like a spider.
Here.
Yep, right there on that table.
Can you touch this box?
Hey, did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I heard a thump upstairs.
That was loud as hell, and then the K2 went off upstairs. Is that upstairs still?
No, it's
No.
down here, and that was the table leg
There was.
when she moved
Oh,
it.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
Oh my God, what is it
Can
doing?
you touch this box? You're right there. Can you touch the box? Did you put the doll head down?
Yeah, she moved it.
Okay, but I didn't put it off. I just turned it.
It's off.
Yeah.
The hell is it
What
doing?
was that?
What is that thing doing? Good Lord.
I don't know. It sounded like
Looks like it's thumping
Yeah.
the table, personally.
It does. It's having sex with the table, honestly.
Are you scared? Are we scaring you?
It doesn't look scared.
No,
It
you really like that doll on the table, don't you?
Maybe it's a puppy dog.
Oh.
Can you come here and sit on my lap?
I don't think I'd ask him that right now.
she's trying to grab
Yeah.
Trying to grab my what?
your hand.
Here, touch my hand. Can you touch my hand?
But that's really weird because for this to map it out, there's got to be something there.
Right,
Because it doesn't just map nothing.
right.
It's cold. You feel it?
Yeah, I feel the coldness around my legs.
Even like
That
moving
wasn't
my
there.
arms and it gets colder. Can you touch my hand? High five.
Well, hell, if I
What
want
is
to for a
that
second.
going on in there?
All kinds of stuff is going on in there.
What
That's
is?
what we first saw when it growled.
Yeah.
And that, she thought it was my stomach, and I was like, no, I came from over there. And I turned the camera over there, and it was standing in the doorway. And Elvin ran over, he saw it too.
It was a full.
It was full body.
No, it was-
figure standing there.
It could
in
be
the
a.
doorway.
It almost could look like a dog right now. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
It's doing some wild stuff right
It's
now.
doing
Is it still on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is weird. But it wouldn't know that. I mean, maybe it doesn't know it's a table.
God, it does look like a dog now. I don't know what it's doing.
It was moving and weird.
It's moving really weird. If you could see what it's doing now.
The question is that her?
This is me. I'm waving.
See what I'm talking about? That ain't her.
Yeah. There's her waving.
Okay,
It
there's
is
the
her.
waving now. Okay.
So you can't see Jen now.
Well, Jen's back there,
Okay.
but it only maps 2 people.
Okay, that won't
Is
map
what it
3.
looks like.
I'm gonna.
Okay, you're leaving.
Okay.
Now
See,
it'll
and there
find
goes
Jen.
back. See? That's what I said.
Look what
It
it's
only
doing
will
on the
map-
table.
I think it's on the floor.
No.
Whoa,
the
no,
ta-
it's, well, wait, now there's 3 of them.
What was that?
I don't know.
See, that's what it's still doing on the table.
Right.
But there was
Something
something
else
for a
just
second.
flashed for a second in the chair.
Now, this
That
is,
sounded like footsteps.
See, the blue thing is the table.
I hear it.
The blue round thing is the table.
I wonder if it's a it can't be residual and it's.
how would we pick up residual?
No, it
Well,
I'm
doesn't.
having a
This.
residual spirit
No,
that repeats the same movements over and over.
no.
Sad part is we're going to lose this soon because I think the
Battery's dying.
battery on this thing is dying. The
That shouldn't
iPad.
die. That shouldn't die.
The battery is
It
like
is doing
all
something
the way
really
down
weird.
towards the bottom.
Yeah, it's been doing it a
I
long time.
charged this thing,
Oh, you didn't charge
but I
the
didn't
tab.
charge the
The thing
tab.
is, if it's on the table, why wouldn't the K2 meter be going off?
Whether
Uh-huh.
it's electromagnetic or not. I mean,
So where's the other 2?
Well, and there's
What the heck?
another one in the chair.
there's another one in the
If
chair.
you don't move out of the way, go that way.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this way. I'm sorry, this way. Yep, keep going.
Look,
See, there's another one
There's two
in
of
that
them.
chair and the table. There is
And
2
what
of
it
them.
is I had to move. I had to get out of the chair.
Because it will only show 2.
What are they doing?
is that a blowjob? I'm just wondering. I'm sorry, but what the hell is going on there? Oh, look at the fancy knee. Woo, yeah, baby.
Yeah, move those
It
hips.
looks like it's
Yeah,
dancing.
it looks like
But
it's.
see, the one is so weird, and the other one is more normal.
Well, it looks like a stabbing motion, to be 100% honest, but if you look at the right
Oh.
arm.
And that's it.
Is that really what's going on?
Look at it, how elongated and weird it is.
It
though.
looks like they're trying to get up.
It's trying to stand
Yeah,
up.
the one on top looks like a stabbing motion coming down, the other one trying to get away.
I don't know. It kind of does.
That one just got there.
See, your battery is running low.
Well, now whoever phone that is, you'll have to
Yeah.
send us that footage.
Yeah, both of them have it.
Well, I'm gonna leave this to it.
No, Sean,
runs out,
it's on the phone. It
runs
won't.
dead.
It doesn't record that. I don't think.
Oh,
Right? Am I right?
oh, you have Shauna's
That
phone?
doesn't record.
He hasn't figured out how to make it to record
Okay.
yet. So
Okay, look, I got it to play.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
that's why he was asking somebody to film it by phone.
That's
so this
fine.
way we have it.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I'm putting
That's the
up-
wildest thing I've ever
That
seen.
thing on the floor or the table is weird. Like the other one.
The fact that it's in the chair too is
Yeah.
really weird.
Well, and it was like as soon as I got up, it showed up.
I don't know. It could be violence we're seeing, but
See, but that's why I thought that's what I was seeing and not you. Because when you started waving your arms, that thing didn't wave its arms yet. Now, before we end this, I want to touch very briefly on our new books that Jen and I put out that were just released in May of this year. So I'm going to turn it back over to Jen for a minute.
The next thing that I want to talk to you about is my book. I just recently published a book, and this is actually volume 1. It's Exploring the Unknown, True Accounts from a Paranormal Investigator, and it's about some of our investigations. Now, this is going to take you in depth a little bit to some of the investigations, like Blackford County Hospital. I know some of you may have heard me talk about this in other presentations, but I am going to go into detail. There's a lot of photos for that chapter. That's actually chapter 1. There's another chapter where it talks about pets that attack, and there is one where we're talking about Thornhaven Manor, and where I was actually pushed down the stairs. Ashmore Estates, where Elvin had a desk drawer come out and nobody else was in the room. We were totally surprised about that, and many other investigations that we've done. Now that is volume 1. I am starting to work on volume 2. So if you're interested in getting a copy of the book, you can actually go to Amazon and get a book there. You can also get the Kindle version there, or you can come to our website if you want a signed copy. Go to HodgsonBooks.com and you can purchase a copy there. You can actually go to my own website, intuitivejenhodgson.com, and if you click on the link there, it will take you to Amazon where you can purchase the book. Steve has a book out as well, so you might want to check that out. And if you're interested in a reading or interested in learning how to develop your psychic abilities or your mediumship, head over to intuitivejenhodgson.com where you can do that as well.
My newest book from the series, The Paranormal Not As Seen on TV, is called The Dark Side. The Dark Side takes a twist on paranormal investigations, and it discusses what evil lurks out there in the paranormal field. I'll take you through the history of evil, the names of the demons who represent this evil, and how they affect some of our paranormal investigations. Now remember, keep in mind, not everything is evil that you encounter on a paranormal investigation, but you need to be aware of what is when you encounter evil face to face, because it can happen at any time, especially during a paranormal investigation. I also give you specific examples of evil that we have encountered at some of our investigations, as well as some experiences I've had personally, first-hand experiences. Always remember that paranormal investigating is not a DIY project, and you must always be prepared, knowledgeable, and protected. If you do not protect yourself, you can bring something home to your family and back to your home which you really weren't counting on. As I always say, you need to remember, it's not always what you see on TV. Now, I want to thank all of you for joining us this year at the 2020 virtual miniCON. We hope to see you in person next year. And remember, there's still plenty of time to make it a great 2020. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.